Hello, my dear listeners. Today we're going to talk about 7 good reasons why you should not try to do all your digital marketing yourself as a business owner or as a marketing manager or as an entrepreneur. I want to dissect this issue a little bit closer today because many moons ago, I bought a fixer-upper and decided that I was going to fix it. And my wife and I, we were young and recently married and we had time because we didn't have any kids. And so we were going to fix it up. And sure, this is before YouTube videos too. So sure, we thought, hey, how hard could it be to replace drywall, right? Or how hard could it be to replace that or add these things or maybe get a new dishwasher in there and maybe repaint and all that kind of stuff. And oh boy, let me tell you, all these things are time consuming. There's expertise involved, there's skills involved, and there's always unanticipated issues that come up. So I'm going to use a specific analogy for a bathroom project that I did last couple of weeks to kind of make my point. But there are very good reasons why you should not try to do all of your digital marketing in-house. There are some incredibly time-consuming parts of digital marketing that's going to drain your time. It can be there can be some very steep learning curves on certain platforms that you need to use. You're going to spread yourself real thin. To be honest with you, nothing's going to be done well. Because you're just going to be spread too thin in terms of what all needs to be accomplished. So, and then you're going to be missing out on some important tools and technologies and best practices. And the result won't be all that great, right? You really won't be getting what you can out of some of these things like SEO and PPC and Facebook ads and things like that and social media. And also, being a little too close to your business, you won't have an objective expertise to be able to say, hey, this is really where I need to be. So, anyway, those are some of the reasons I'm going to cover in this episode, so tune in and let's get started with some DIY analogies and why there are 7 good reasons for you to not try to do all your digital marketing yourself as a business owner, a marketing manager, or an entrepreneur. So let's get started. Welcome to the latest episode of Corner Your Market. I'm your host, Sailis Kimide. In this podcast, I talk about all things digital marketing, from website design and development to SEO and PPC, as well as paid advertising, email marketing, social media, and anything in between. If you're a small business owner, a marketing manager in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. So tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. You'll gain some practical insights, new strategies, tactics, and tools that will help you grow your business. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com and select the podcast app of your choice. Then you can hit subscribe within those apps. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review in the app once you've listened to one of our episodes. When it comes to DIY, do-it-yourself home projects, I can manage the real simple ones, Like last week, I recaulked the showers, my main bathroom showers in my master bath. And it was fairly easy. I watched a YouTube video, saw a guy do it. All you need is to go and get waterproof, water-resistant caulk, same color, whatever color you want, transparent or white. I got the white kind. I came back, I cleaned out the area with a putty knife. I did a small part first, make sure I was comfortable doing it. I didn't want to cause a mess. Once I felt comfortable with the small area, I kind of went through and did the whole thing. And, it wasn't too time consuming. I didn't have to buy any specialized equipment or anything like that. I already had a putty knife in the house. All you need is to cut that, scrape and cut that existing caulk off. And then, I applied it, I cleaned it all up, and then I, let it dry for 24 hours before I took the first shower, and then looked at it and it's like, looks great. It works great. It was a low time investment, low skill requirement, very manageable, right? Now, along the same veins, I don't want to get my wife too excited, but she has been talking about maybe replacing the bathroom floor, right? So now that one seems like a little bit more of an investment to me. That one, there's tile there right now. I'd have to remove the tile. I'd have to clean that all up. I'd have to prep the floor probably. And then I'm going to need to, get the materials. If we go with tile again, I'm going to need to make sure that I have the equipment to cut it. I'm going to need, the right grouts, the right stuff. I need to measure. I need to put it together. And who knows if that bathroom floor is level or not, right? That's another issue, unanticipated. How level is it? And what did the guy that did it before make adjustments to make sure that it was level, and am I taking that out? So there's a lot there. I could go and spend countless hours watching YouTube videos. I can, familiarize myself with the best practices. I can do all that kind of stuff, but it's going to be a significant time investment, skill investment, resource investment on my part to be able to do that. Not out of the possibility of being able to do it, but just, the requirements that are required to be able to do it well. And also I have a very, a customer that, my wife, who's going to be looking at it going, she's going to be comparing that to, what it would have cost to have somebody else do it. Right. So why do I bring this up? I bring this up because the last couple of months I've been talking to, prospects, business owners and things like that. And there's a couple that I've talked to over the last couple of months that have talked about doing their own marketing, doing their own stuff by themselves, and they don't necessarily feel like a marketing agency or a digital marketing agency would be of much value, or that they would bring that much to the table. And so what I wanted to do today was using that DIY project example, or that, I think it's an allegory. I don't know. English wasn't my major in college. So if you're an English major, let me know. Is that an allegory? Is that an analogy? I really should know this. Maybe I should ask ChatGPT at some point what it is. But anyway, using that analogy, I'll just use the word analogy. Using that analogy, let me kind of point out, why doing marketing by yourself or for your own company in-house is no joke, regardless of your size. First of all, if you're small enough, you're going to have to pay a salary for somebody to do it. And the skill sets are so varied in terms of all the stuff that needs to be done. What you're really going to need is like a project manager of sorts, a marketing project manager more than a marketing specialist or like a marketing expert. And if you're a larger company, you could probably have a in-house department, but even with an in-house department, there's still specialized skills and things like that you still need to outsource. So what I want to do today is talk about the 7 reasons why, the 7 good reasons. These are not bad reasons. These are good reasons, right? 7 good reasons why you should not try to do all your digital marketing yourself as a business owner or a marketing manager or as an entrepreneur. The first thing is it's incredibly time consuming, and we'll get into that in a little bit. There's a steep learning curve. And then you're going to spend, if you're a business owner or you're some kind of a high level person, you're going to spread yourself too thin, right? And then you're going to miss out on some important tools and technologies, to be honest with you. And then your content creation will suffer. Number 6 is you won't have an objective expertise in the thing. Sometimes being too close to it, being emotional about it causes you to make weird decisions. And we'll talk a little bit about that later on. So finally, number 7 is measuring ROI, proper tracking, analytics, reporting. It's a beast in and of itself. So anyway, so let's get started on the 7 good reasons. I'll go one by one on these 7 reasons, the 7 good reasons why you should not try to do all your digital marketing yourself as a business owner, marketing manager, or an entrepreneur. Let's start with the first one, right? It is incredibly time consuming. It's like replacing the bathroom floors. It's not recaulking your showers. Let me just kind of mention that to you. Just even like I do marketing for a lot of people, and we have systems and processes in place in our agency that allows us to speed things up, right? So from content creation, writing blog posts, creating videos, developing visual assets, preparing content pieces. There's some that are extremely time intensive. It takes a lot of time. Kind of like, and you run into unanticipated issues, right? Like when you're retiling a bathroom floor, you don't anticipate it to be not level, right? There might be a section that's not level. Then all of a sudden you're stuck. What do I do? How do I do this, right? And then it's been 7 days and nobody's using the bathroom, and then your customer's mad, your wife's mad because your stuff's not done, right? So it's time consuming. Social media management is time consuming. SEO optimization is time consuming. Paid campaign management, running ads on Google, Facebook, it's time consuming. Email, setting up the template, getting the things rolling. If you have deliverability issues, troubleshooting deliverability issues, A/B testing, message testing, all very time consuming. And then analytics and reporting, right? Setting up analytics. I mean, I've been doing analytics setup, Google Tag Manager setup, conversion tracking pixel setup for years. And still things, take me a little bit of time here and there because things change. The way that it's done changes. Sometimes there's a new feature. Sometimes something doesn't work. Sometimes the pixel doesn't fire and things like that. So it's just it's not as straightforward as you might think. And so this first point, kind of goes to the second point, which is then there's a steep learning curve. You got to learn all this stuff. Let's say you're going to do a website redesign and you're going to do some SEO, just those two things, right? So let's say you're going to do it yourself. So now you're going to have to learn the differences between all the different platforms and try to figure out which platform is the best one for you. Then once you've decided on the platform, then you've got to figure out the design, right? How you're going to get the design together, what template works best. You know what I mean? And then you're going to have to put all the content together, and then you're going to have to, test it, make sure it all works. How does it look? And then you launch it, and then you start to do SEO. Then you got to do keyword research. Then you got to do, copy adjustments based on the keywords that you decide on. Then you got to start doing some link building. And then you're going to have to start some kind of a regular content schedule and things like that. So there's just every step. And if your main bulk business is, let's say you are you're selling some, makeup, or you're selling, whatever you're selling, whatever service you're providing, you're an expert in that, but you're not an expert on this. So now you're spending a lot of time developing expertise and skills on this side of the house that you could be applying on the other side of the house, which is actually giving you more of the ROI. This side of the house is just going to feel like you're sinking time. And then the other side of the house is the one that you actually get money from. So you're going to always have that conflict in there, right? So again, steep learning curve. I had not set up, I'll just give you an example. I had not set up a Google Ads campaign from scratch. I did my first one this summer. I hadn't done one in maybe 3 years. And boy, when I got in there, one of the staff members that actually does it was on vacation, and we had to get this going. So I got in there, and man, things are new. There's things that I hadn't seen before, setup processes, systems, all these different things that were just new to me. And I've been doing Google Ads since 2008, 2009, right? Facebook ads, same thing. I mean, things just look different every 6 months, 7 months. So anyway, steep learning curve, folks. There's a steep learning curve on all of these things. And then another thing is, a lot of the platforms that you might go to will try to make it easy for you. Maybe graphic design, Canva and stuff like that. They try to make it easy for you. But then you start, your stuff is generic, right? It looks like everybody else's stuff, and you're copying the same strategy, or you're copying the same stuff. It doesn't really make it you, right? And so there's a little bit of I don't know what word in English that would be. Tasteless. That's the word I'm looking for. Like drinking a flat Coke. That's kind of what it comes out to be. So anyway, and then along the same lines, you are now spreading yourself too thin. As a business owner, let's say you have a fairly decent sized business, right? You should be focusing on your business. You should be focusing on setting business goals, visions, direction. You should be making major decisions on your business, building customer relationships, hiring and managing staff, evaluating your business performance, accounting, finance, legal compliance, your competition, keeping track of that, developing new product services. That's the stuff that's going to make you the most for your buck, because that's what you are setting out to do to make your company successful, right? So if you focus on that, you're going to be long-term more successful. And then you can outsource services like marketing, customer service, IT, administrative staff, administrative tasks, sorry, not staff, bookkeeping, graphic design, market research, and surveys. You can outsource that kind of stuff. You should not be doing that in-house if your core function is not that. So, um, and then, so that's just something that you just need to keep in mind as a business owner, I think. And if you're a marketing manager, you also need to kind of think about that as well, because if you're running a marketing department in your company, you're thinking you might be spending a lot of time with your customers and trying to understand them and doing some surveys and understanding the competitive landscape and maybe working with your internal product teams and better communication and things like that. You're not going to have the time, the inclination, or the resources to do some of these more technical marketing stuff like PPC and SEO and graphic design, because those are things that you could just outsource to an agency. So anyway, so that's point number 3. Point number 4, important tools and tech will be missing in your marketing. You won't have it. You won't have the proper tools, software, technical know-how for success, right? So, it's just recently that I feel comfortable using a weed whacker, for instance. It's taken me a lot of years to kind of figure out the right angles, how to, level the grass and all that kind of stuff, right? But I watch these landscaping guys do it and they're like, man, they go through my yard in like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, really. They just do it and it looks so nice, right? Because they know they have the right tool, they know how to use it, they're experts at it. For me, I'm not an expert at it. I use maybe my weed whacker twice a month. And over the years, maybe as I've used it, I've gotten better at it, right? So it's taken me a lot of reps to get there. And there's a lot of tools out there. There's SEMrush, there's Ahrefs, Moz, Hootsuite, Buffer, Canva, MailChimp, HubSpot, ClickFunnels, Google Analytics, Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Adobe Creative Cloud. These are all very, very specialized tools. And they're not cheap either. $99 for a single license, $399 for like a agency level license. So really, if you have an agency that already knows how to use these tools, they have agency level accounts, they've got it set up, they know how it works, they know what the best practices are, they can interpret the data, they run the scans, they do everything that is needed in a very timely manner, then you kind of lose. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, right? So, and also it saves you, right? Because those agency level accounts means that per unit you're not going to be paying as much to access the same same tools, because that's just the way it works. That's just the way scale works, right? So that's 4. Important tools and techs will be missing, and you also won't know which tools to use and which tools are good and which tools are not good. I do constant, clients are always contacted me saying, hey, Buffer is turning out to be a little bit more expensive than I thought. Is there an alternative? Hootsuite is not really exactly doing everything. I added a new channel. Now my cost just went up, right? So what's an alternative, right? So now they're leaning on me to do the research to get that information to them, which I'm happy to do if they're a client. But if you don't have an agency partner where you can kind of work with somebody to kind of get that kind of information, then it can be, you can be lost in many ways. And then point number 5 is all of this means that your content and your marketing is going to suffer. The quality of your marketing in terms of where it could be, just by, outsourcing it at fairly manageable, medium level cost, means that your marketing is just going to suffer. I talked to some companies just in the last month and I asked them about their SEO strategy and I could not believe what they said. They said, yeah, our SEO, I don't know if we need to do SEO. It doesn't work. It doesn't seem to work for us. I almost fell out of my chair, man. What are you talking about? SEO doesn't work for you. It just means that you haven't done it well. And I said, who's doing it? And they said, oh, our project manager is doing it. Oh, okay. What's her skill set? Well, this is what she does. I'm like, oh boy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. SEO is not easy, man. And I looked at their website and sure enough, major things are missing. I can't even say that they've done SEO, right? It's kind of like me doing the bathroom floor and everything's kind of messed up. And I say, oh, you know what? Bathroom floors don't work. You should really not put a bathroom floor in. So anyway, I don't know if that analogy is really working there. I might have to think of a different analogy, but I'm not going to edit this. So, hey, that we're stuck with that analogy for now. But anyway, it's going to suffer and people are going to see it. People are going to see disorganization. People are going to see messaging that is not in sync. You might be saying something in LinkedIn, what's different than what's different on your ads. You might not have the same information on your landing page, and things like that. And you might just be blindly applying the recommendations that Google Ads gives you in those ad platforms, and you're wondering why it's not getting it to the point where it needs to be, right? So your content creation and your execution will suffer. Other thing is, the point number 6 is you really won't have an objective view of how your marketing is going and the adjustments that you need to make. People get emotionally attached to things. They get attached to taglines. They get attached to certain logo elements. They get attached to certain strategies and certain, they get attached to certain, segments of their market and things like that. And, sometimes that emotional attachment is kind of not good. I myself have kind of experienced that even running my own business. I get attached to a certain process or to a certain product, not realizing that maybe that is not the best product anymore, or that there's a newer product in play, or there's a different way of doing things, or there's a different market that is probably better for you than this. So you're not going to have that objective view, and you're not going to have the feedback loops that you might need in terms of data interpretation, which actually is my last point in terms of, you won't have objective. I forgot to mention, you want to avoid confirmation bias, right? It's easy to make assumptions about what's working if you're analyzing your own content. Outside experts provide unbiased insights, right? There's also having an objective expertise mean that you're going to be able to identify blind spots. An objective auditor can identify gaps, issues, or limitations you simply can't see being deep in the weeds. And then also benchmarking your performance, understanding how your strategies compare to industry standards and best practices, and then bringing fresh ideas. I mean, let's just face it. When we're looking at the same thing for so long, we run out of ideas, right? Having a third-party marketing company can suggest new platforms, new technologies, new messaging adjustments, new strategies that you may not have considered. And then the final point is measuring ROI. And I can't tell you how many times I talk to people that say PPC doesn't work, SEO doesn't work, social media doesn't work, email marketing doesn't work. And a lot of times when I dig into it, it's because they've done it themselves without the expertise and the knowledge base that is required to make these things successful, or, they just chose a bad partner. I mean, that does happen, right? So, or they chose a channel that doesn't really rhyme or doesn't really sync with their brand and their audience, which is not a level of expertise that most people necessarily have. So, I mean, measuring your ROI, getting the proper tracking and analytics in place is very, very, important. And getting things standardized on Google Tag Manager, having the right conversion pixels in place, tracking calls, tracking form fills, tracking events. Those are all necessary elements of determining how well your campaign is doing, right? So that's something that, takes some expertise to do. I mean, sure, you can watch a couple of YouTube videos and do it, but it's not a bathroom caulk level, a level of low skill enterprise. It is a higher level of a bathroom remodel than what you might think. So anyway, I know I might sound like that I'm trying to, steer you in a different direction than what you're normally used to, which I guess I am, because I am trying to look out for you. Look, there are certain things in marketing that you can do yourself and only you can do. Like, for instance, you need to be actively involved and participating in any of the social media that your agency might be doing, right? Because that's an important brand voice, and you need to be able to guide them and be involved in the content creation and execution process. And there's certain things that you need to be absolutely involved in. You need to be reading the reports, and you need to be, really evaluating the strategies that your agency might be providing you, right? But beyond that, I mean, I think you really need to think hard about perhaps the day-to-day or the actual execution and the actual, the actual, development of the marketing strategies and things like that you may not have a strategy for, skill set for. So what I'm trying to say here is think a little long and hard about this issue for you and your company. Even if you're an entrepreneur with a very low budget, focus your time on what brings you the biggest bang for your buck and what your core expertise are or is, and just outsource it, man. I mean, don't try to build a bathroom when you're not capable of doing it. Sure, it looks easy, it sounds easy, and a lot of people, when you watch some of these videos, they sure as heck make it look like it's easy too. Do this, do this, do this, do this. The issue comes up on how do you customize it for your personal situation, and also when it doesn't go right. I mean, how do you interpret the data? How do you interpret things breaking down? How do you fix those things? And how do you take your marketing to the next level so that your marketing is doing what you can, what it needs to be doing for your business? So, hey, it's been a great episode talking about this. So let me kind of recap a little bit in terms of what we talked about. In terms of the bottom line, is focus on your core business strengths and leave marketing, or at least the execution of the marketing, to the professionals. And then we talked about, how incredibly time consuming it can be, doing this level of marketing. There's a steep learning curve in it. You're going to spread yourself way too thin, and you're not even going to realize that, your lack of focus is costing you long term. And then you're going to, number 4 is important tools and techs. They're not cheap. They're not easy to learn. You're going to be missing those. And then your marketing, your content creation is going to suffer. You're not going to have the level of marketing that you really need to get the kind of results that you're looking for. You'll lack objective expertise, and then your ROI might not be measured accurately or correctly, right? So those are the 7 reasons in terms of why you should outsource your marketing. If you think of other reasons, or if you feel like maybe I'm pushing something that you disagree with and that, you're somebody that has run their own marketing to great success, I do want to hear from you as well, because I need feedback just like you do, and I'm willing to dialogue, and I'm willing to kind of engage you in this topic. It's not a one thing fits all everything, but I'm just giving you what I've seen in the marketplace, giving you feedback based on my experience working with a wide range of clients and businesses over the last 25 years, and just trying to help you out here. So with that, I say happy marketing, and hope to hear from you soon, and we'll do this all over next week. Thanks for joining. If you're a small business owner, a marketer in a company, or an entrepreneur, this podcast is for you. You'll become better educated and informed when it comes to digital marketing. And if you implement the strategies, tactics, and tools I discuss in this podcast, your business will grow and prosper. To subscribe, go to corneryourmarketpodcast.com. That again is corneryourmarketpodcast.com. You can also search for Corner Your Market in Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast, and you can subscribe through those apps. Also, don't forget to like and share our individual episodes. You can also leave a review. Finally, I would love to hear from you, so if you have any questions, feedback, or general comments about the topics I discuss, feel free to send me an email. I will be sure to share and discuss your feedback on the air if it will benefit our listening audience. You can write to me at connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Just put listener comment in the subject line. That email again is connect@corneryourmarketpodcast.com. Thanks for listening. I look forward to being back next week. Until then, be good and do good.